Welcome to the Sunburnt Country Music New Releases podcast episode that I'm recording on the 7th of March 2025, and it will include some songs that were released today because I have listened to today's new releases. It will also include some songs from late February because I'm not necessarily doing these episodes to go with months or anything like that, although I do have the monthly new releases playlist on Spotify and YouTube, which are kept cumulatively. So I will add songs to them as they are released. So if you want to find out what's just come out, then you can look for Sunburnt Country on Spotify or search for the Sunburnt Country Music channel on YouTube. Now, in this episode, as with every one of these new releases episodes, if you are listening to the audio only version of it, you will hear the songs after I have been talking about them. If you are watching this on YouTube, then the links to the videos, whether it's audio only or there is an actual music video, appear in the show notes. So you can pause me or whatever and then go and listen to / watch those videos and come back, or you can just wait till the end and go and watch them all. How you use your YouTube time is entirely up to you. But if you are listening to the audio, then after I have talked about each song, you can hear that song. The first song I'm going to talk to you about, and we do have quite a mixed bag today of country pop, Americana, some traditional leaning country. That first song is Carolina by Chloe Marks and the Mayhem, which is a Brisbane band, a 5-piece band, helmed by Chloe Marks, who is originally from far north Queensland, and she began her musical life at the age of 14 as a drummer and solo artist. Since then, she has been in a variety of bands and genres. Chloe Marks and the Mayhem blends Americana with blues and rock influences. I kind of fumbled that word. Rock is the word I was trying to say. Blues and rock influences. Their first single is Carolina, and Chloe has said of this rollicking, rolling song that she wanted to explore the bittersweet pain of loving someone who keeps leaving and coming back, always dangling a string just out of reach. It's a song that's deeply personal but universally relatable. Carolina was produced by Michael Moko, whose name some of you will know. Michael is very much in demand as both a producer and a musician. Ben Mastwick is a Melburnian maestro who pushes the boundaries of traditional country both on record and live. I have seen him play live. He is highly entertaining, and he's also very entertaining recorded. And I really enjoyed interviewing him for his last album, so much so that I'll be talking to him again very soon. He does have a new album that is on the horizon, possibly the distant horizon. There is no release date for it yet. That album will be called Let Me at the Night. The first single from it is out now, and it is called All the Songs I Wrote. It opens with the line, "All the songs I wrote a year ago, they're all about me now." And that's because this is a tale of heartbreak in which those songs that were about strangers turn out to be personal tales of woe. We wanted to create something up-tempo and fun, a party record, Ben says of the album. With all the songs I wrote, we leaned into the emotional depth, blending classic country heartbreak. Sydney country pop artist Abby Ferris had a huge 2024 that took her around the world to performances at some of the biggest country music festivals. It also saw the release of her EP, You Don't Live Here Anymore, and concluded with a Golden Guitar nomination. She now has a new single, Don't You Dare. Says Abby, "I wrote this in Nashville with Shelley Riff. I was just on the other side of a big breakup and starting to wake up to the attention I was getting from men, but knowing I wasn't healed enough to jump into anything yet. So this song is about that push and pull, feeling the temptation and resisting it. It also goes so hard live." Don't You Dare was recorded with Abby's longtime producer Michael Carpenter, who released a single that I covered on a previous episode of this podcast. Its release comes after Abby spent a month in Nashville working on new music. If you're in Sydney, you can see her play at Jolene's in the city on the 13th of March. And if you are going to CMC Rocks in Queensland later this month, you can see her there too. When I reviewed Max Jackson's debut album, Life of the Party, in 2020, I raved about it, and it's still a favourite album. So I felt very smug when Max won Toyota Star Maker in 2022. She has since gone on to win 3 Golden Guitars, so I'm feeling even more smug about raving about that album. And those Golden Guitars include this year's Female Artist of the Year and Single of the Year for A Little More Country, after winning Best New Talent last year. Max is a wonderful songwriter with a finely tuned country pop sensibility, and I love the edge she has in her latest single, Grass, which is about being grateful for what you've got in your own backyard, delivered in Max's singular style. It was written by Max with Phil Barton and Dave Thompson and produced by Rod McCormick. As Max says, I love this song because I wrote it as a reminder to myself to stop comparing what I've got to other people. I think with social media and lives playing out in front of us every day, we're always seeing the best part of everyone else's lives, the highlight reels. It's so easy to look at other people's lives and think they've got it all, and in turn think that what you've got isn't enough. But this song is really about reminding myself to flip the perspective. Rather than focusing on the things we don't have, if we look at the things that we do, life is a whole lot better. Max will play CMC Rocks in Queensland, which takes place from the 21st to the 23rd of March, and she has just announced. See, this is the thing when you read a lot of text at once, sometimes you fumble your words. She has just announced her first headline tour taking place in Victoria, Queensland, and New South Wales in April and May. I have seen Max live, so I have already bought a ticket for one of these shows. She is captivating, and I can't wait to see her live again. I first heard of Tamworth local Dear Tommy when she released the single Right Turn with Nathan Lamont, who has previously appeared in this New Releases podcast, and I've interviewed him several times. At first, I actually wasn't sure if I was going to love that song, and now I can barely stop listening to it. I just love it. I did not need that much time to decide that I loved her new single, A Man Written by a Woman. I loved it pretty much straight away. Dear Tommy's style is country with blues, roots, and pop influences, and she says of this new single that it challenges conventional notions of masculinity by celebrating traits often associated with female perspectives such as empathy and vulnerability. It reflects a love for men who are allies for equality and in a world where you can be strong but gentle and bold, yet still kind. Last year, Dear Tommy supported the ARIA-nominated Tori Forsyth on her tour, and she was also the writer and producer behind Bella McKenzie's #1 song, Cowboy, which I didn't realise until I was doing some research into this new single. I am really looking forward to finding out what Dear Tommy comes up with next. Minor Gold are Tracy McNeil and Dan Parsons, who separately had well-established music careers before forming their duo. They released their self-titled debut album in 2023 and have since toured North America, the UK, and Europe. They have released a new song, Way to the Sun, which is the title track of their forthcoming album. To celebrate, they'll hit the road in their 99 Chevy Astro for the Way to the Sun North American Spring Tour, covering the US North and Southeast and select Canadian cities. The album is set for release in July this year, and an extensive Australian tour will follow in October. Felicity Urquhart and Josh Cunningham won 3 Golden Guitars for their second album, Birdsong, and they have been touring extensively for the past year, at least. It's probably longer than that. That's what I pulled out of my head. It's at least a year. However, they have had time to record some new music in the form of their single, Joy Roller. I've actually long thought that Felicity is musical joy embodied. I've been a fan of her music since her first album and through her work in Bennett, Botel and Urquhart. Josh is well known to many as a member of beloved trio The Waifs, so he also has brought a lot of joy. Since Felicity and Josh teamed up in life and music and released their first album, The Song Club, they've been creating something that has its own musical identity while preserving who they are as individual artists. They are fantastic live, true joy rollers in that setting, so if you have a chance to see them live, please take it. Kesra is an indie pop artist from Melbourne who has just released her first country pop single, Another Life, and it has been my earworm for at least a fortnight. She says of the track, I wrote it about meeting someone for the first time who you feel so deeply connected to. You don't know why or how, as you don't really know them at all, but there's this instant lust-love kind of feeling that makes you feel like you've known them for a lifetime. Becoming hyperfixated over the idea of what they would be like in a relationship if they took a chance on you, but they're with someone else. I interviewed Kesra about this song and other things, and that's coming up on the podcast. For the last song today, for the time being, I have Cassidy Ray's You Make Me. Cassidy Ray is a prolific and prodigiously talented country pop artist who started releasing original music during the pandemic, and she had a talent then for creating the sorts of uplifting songs that were really needed at the time, and still are for that matter. She also makes really poignant ballads, and her latest single, You Make Me, is more in that realm. It was produced by her regular collaborator, Michael Carpenter, and Cassidy Ray says it's about that moment when you realize you're head over heels and there's no turning back, when love turns you into a crazy fool and you don't even care. Cassidy Ray's main instrument is piano, and she has an extensive repertoire of covers and originals, especially originals now that she is releasing a song every 2 weeks. So follow her on your streaming platforms and you'll get some new music every 2 weeks. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode. I'm going to leave you with Cassidy Ray's You Make Me, and I'll see you or talk to you next time.